Well, one Australian biotech currently enjoying a good share price ride is StarPharma, now valued at over $500 million, largely thanks to an Australian innovation, a new chemical entity called a Dendrimer. StarPharma's president and CEO, Dr. Jackie Fairley, started life as a vet and then jumped over to CSL and later Fauldings, where she ran their injectable generics drug business. She joins me now. Jackie, welcome to the programme.
Thank you, Tiki.
Now, Emily's piece we've just seen was quite upbeat about the biotech sector, but it does involve risk. Why are investors interested in StarPharma?
Well, StarPharma, I think, is a little bit different from many of the companies in our sector, and there are a number of reasons for that. We have a technology platform, the Dendrimer platform, which can be applied to a whole range of different products, and that in itself, that portfolio approach does manage risk quite considerably.
So you've got that one. I mean, what is it doing at the moment? What's your blockbuster, if you like?
So our lead program at the moment is a product called VivaGel. It's a product which is currently in phase 3, which is the final stage of clinical trials. Those trials will complete towards the end of this year, and we'll be submitting for the regulatory approval in the US.
So that's with the FDA. I mean, is that quite a positive stage to be at, or not? How does that work?
Oh, it is, absolutely. There are very few companies with Australian discoveries that have reached that level of development, and it certainly is an important milestone for StarPharma, and we'll be licensing that product to a commercial partner.
And that product, which will be presumably VivaGel, I think it's called,
yes.
Is it? Is that going into the US market or here? Where is the target market?
Oh, it actually will be launched globally. The US market's an important market because the disease it's developed to treat is a condition called bacterial vaginosis, which is particularly an issue in the US, but it is a global problem, and the product will be licensed and sold globally.
So that's your one, as I was saying, sort of big blockbuster. But how do you spread your risk, given that you've only just got this one thing, the Dendrimer?
Well, the Dendrimer is you've got to remember, it's a kind of polymer which can be used in a variety of different ways. VivaGel has one particular polymer in it which has very precise antibacterial and antiviral activity, but that same platform technology can be used to more effectively develop drugs, beg your pardon, deliver drugs, and also can be used in agrochemicals, which is one of the other areas we're exploiting, to deliver those agrochemical agents more effectively.
So you're also... So if I got this right, you're also working on it to actually transport other drugs.
Absolutely, and in fact that in itself is partly a risk mitigation strategy, because what that is, it's an existing drug, and we have one in development which is the cancer drug Taxotere. That's an off-patent drug now, and so what we're doing is we're using our Dendrimers to improve the performance of that drug and also to make it less toxic. And the Dendrimer is acting as a carrier, if you like, to improve the way that drug works.
And you can actually do this with drugs, as I understand, that are coming off patent and going into generic. So you're presumably working with big drug companies as well.
Absolutely. In fact, that's another part of what differentiates StarPharma. Is we've had an active partnering program for a number of years, and we're working with around half a dozen pharmaceutical companies. So these are global pharmaceutical companies. We're working with them to improve their existing drugs using our Dendrimer technology.
So this in a way is quite clever, because if you've got a drug that's coming off patent and you're a big drug company and you can combine it with a new mode of transport, is that another discovery that you can patent?
Absolutely. Those new improved drugs, which have, for instance, in the case of Taxotere, reduced toxicity or improved efficacy, and we've shown both of those things in our candidate product, that is effectively a new discovery, and so that attracts with it an additional patent life of 20 years.
Some people would say, well, that's not fair. That means the big drug companies get to keep their patent going and going, but presumably it's all legit.
Well, in fact, these are different products. So these are improved products. You can't patent something unless it is both novel and inventive. And that novelty is about the improved performance of the drug. So making a drug which is already an existing, already an anti-cancer agent which is efficacious, making it more effective, which is what we've shown that we're able to do, and making it less toxic, which is what we've also shown we've been able to do with our technology, is an improved product. So that's a different product.
So in terms, going back to mitigation of risk, which I always worry about with biotechs, you've got a sort of short, medium, long-term outlook. Do you have a lot of major drug companies, major players on your register?
Not on our register, but we do have partnerships. We tend to try and keep those things separately. We do have the Dow Chemical Company on our register, and that's a function of the origin of the technology. But most of the other major shareholders are, in fact, institutional holders. So M&G came onto the register last year, Acorn and Orbis are all our institutional shareholders.
And from an investor's point of view, I mean, do you have a lot, because, I mean, you're in, what, the top 300 now. Do you have a lot of followers from an analyst following?
We have a good analyst following. Currently, we're in the ASX. We came into the ASX 300 last year. It's potentially likely that we could be looking to move into the ASX 200 in the future, and I'm sure that will bring with us additional analyst coverage. But currently, we have 3 analysts covering us.
And are you likely to be taken out at all, do you reckon?
Well, in our industry, corporate activity is always a possibility, I guess, as it is in many industries. It's not necessarily the way we'd like to go. There's a lot more value to add as an independent company.
Dr. Jackie Fairley, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Tiki.